I'm going to say something today that is going to surprise a lot of you, and I want you to hear me out completely before you decide whether you agree or disagree. Walking is good. I'm not here to tell you walking is bad. Walking has genuine health benefits. It improves mood, supports cardiovascular health, helps with blood sugar regulation, and keeps joints mobile. For most adults, walking is a perfectly reasonable form of daily movement. But for adults over 65 who are specifically trying to preserve muscle mass, prevent falls, maintain bone density, and protect their functional independence, walking alone is not enough. And in many cases, 5 minutes of the right targeted exercise delivers more of what aging bodies actually need than 30 minutes of walking. I know that sounds controversial. So let me show you exactly why the science supports it. I have been practicing geriatric and sports medicine for over 22 years, and one of the most consistent frustrations I encounter is this. Seniors come to me having walked faithfully every single day for years. They are proud of their consistency, and rightfully so, but they are still losing muscle mass. They are still losing bone density. Their balance is still declining. Their fall risk is still rising. And they cannot understand why because they have been doing everything their doctor told them to do. The answer is simple. Walking is cardiovascular exercise. It trains your heart and lungs, but it does not meaningfully challenge your muscles against resistance. It does not load your bones enough to stimulate density maintenance. It does not target the specific muscle groups, glutes, hip flexors, quadriceps, posterior chain, that are most responsible for fall prevention and functional independence after 65. What aging bodies need, in addition to cardiovascular activity, is targeted resistance based movement. Movement that makes your muscles work against load. Movement that sends a signal to your bones to maintain their density. Movement that trains the neuromuscular pathways that catch you when you stumble. And the extraordinary news is that this does not require a gym. It does not require equipment. It does not require an hour of your day. 5 minutes of the right movements, done correctly, done consistently, produces measurable improvements in muscle strength, balance, and bone density that walking simply cannot deliver. In this video, I am going to show you the exact 5 minute workout that I recommend to my patients over 65. I will explain the science behind why each movement was selected, and I will give you a progression plan so that as you get stronger over the weeks and months ahead, you continue to see results rather than plateauing. Stay with me until the end because the fifth exercise in this routine is the one that most seniors have never tried, and clinical research suggests it may be the single most valuable movement available to adults over 65 for preserving long term independence. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, do you currently walk regularly but still feel like your strength, balance, or energy is declining? Type yes below because this video is specifically for you. Let me give you the biology behind why walking, as wonderful as it is, cannot address the most critical physical needs of adults over 65. After 65, adults lose muscle mass at a rate of 1 to 2% per year without active resistance training. This condition, sarcopenia, is one of the most significant contributors to fall risk, fracture risk, loss of independence, and even mortality in older adults. The key word in that sentence is resistance training. Muscles maintain and grow only when they are challenged against meaningful resistance, a load that requires them to work near their capacity. Walking provides minimal resistance to most major muscle groups. Your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core are not significantly challenged by the act of walking on flat ground at a comfortable pace. They are moving, yes, but they are not being loaded enough to stimulate the muscle protein synthesis that maintains muscle mass. A landmark study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research directly compared the effects of a daily walking program versus a targeted resistance exercise program in adults over 65 over a 16-week period. The walking group showed no significant change in muscle mass, muscle strength, or fall risk scores. The resistance exercise group showed a 14% increase in lower body strength, a 9% increase in lean muscle mass, and a 32% improvement in balance assessment scores. Same time commitment. Dramatically different outcomes for the specific needs of aging bodies. Osteoporosis affects over 10 million Americans over 65, with another 44 million having low bone density, osteopenia. Hip fractures resulting from osteoporosis carry catastrophic consequences for older adults, as I discussed in a previous video. Walking does provide some bone loading benefit. The impact of each step sends a small mechanical signal to bone cells to maintain density, but that signal is modest. And research consistently shows that it is insufficient to prevent the bone density decline that accelerates after 65, particularly in postmenopausal women. What bones respond to most powerfully is resistance loading, the compression and tension forces created when muscles pull against bones during resistance exercise. This mechanical loading directly stimulates osteoblast activity, the bone building cells, at a level that walking simply cannot match. A study published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found that a targeted resistance exercise program in adults over 65 produced a 1 to 3% increase in bone density at the hip and spine over 12 months, while a walking program produced no significant change in bone density over the same period. The balance and fall prevention problem. Falls are the leading cause of fatal and non fatal injuries in adults over 65, and the primary physical factors that determine fall risk are not cardiovascular fitness. They are muscle strength, neuromuscular coordination, and postural stability, none of which walking specifically trains. The exercises I'm about to show you target all three simultaneously, and the research on their effectiveness for fall prevention in older adults is among the most consistent and compelling in all of geriatric medicine. Now, let me walk you through the exact 5-minute workout. 5 exercises, 1 minute each. No equipment, no floor work required. Every movement can be performed standing, using a chair or countertop for support as needed. I have designed this routine so that each exercise targets a different critical area, and so that the sequence builds on itself, warming up the body progressively and ending with the most powerful movement. This is the most functional exercise available to older adults, bar none. The ability to rise from a seated position independently is one of the strongest predictors of longevity and functional independence in adults over 65, and it directly trains the movement pattern you use dozens of times every single day, getting up from chairs, toilets, car seats, and sofas. Here is how to perform it correctly for maximum benefit. Sit toward the front edge of a sturdy chair, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Lean slightly forward so your nose is over your toes. This is the key position that most people miss. Without using your hands, slowly press through your heels and rise to a full standing position. At the top, stand completely upright for 1 second. Do not rush into sitting again. Then slowly lower yourself back down, taking a full 3 seconds to descend until you just touch the seat and immediately rise again without fully sitting. That slow, controlled descent is the eccentric quadriceps work that builds the specific strength you need to safely lower yourself onto any surface. It is the most important part of the movement and the part that most people skip by dropping heavily into the chair. For 1 minute, perform as many slow, controlled repetitions as you comfortably can. If you need to use your hands initially, that is perfectly fine. Place them on your thighs for assistance and gradually reduce that assistance as you get stronger over the weeks. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that the number of sit to stand repetitions an adult over 65 could perform in 30 seconds was one of the strongest predictors of fall risk, hospitalization, and mortality over a 5-year follow up period. It is not just an exercise, it is a direct measure of your functional survival capacity. Stand behind a chair or at a countertop with your fingertips lightly resting on the surface for balance, not gripping, just touching. Feet hip width apart, toes pointing forward. Slowly rise up onto the balls of your feet as high as you can go. Hold at the top for 2 full seconds, really squeeze the calf at the peak. Then lower slowly over a 3 second count until your heels just touch the floor and immediately rise again without resting at the bottom. The key is the slow, controlled lowering. Your calves are working hardest on the way down, not on the way up. That eccentric phase is where strength and stability are built. Dropping your heels quickly eliminates most of the exercise's value. For 1 minute, maintain a slow, deliberate tempo, approximately 6 seconds per repetition. Why are calf raises so important for adults over 65? 3 reasons. First, your calf muscles are the secondary circulatory pump of your body. Every time they contract, they push blood from your lower legs back up toward your heart. Strong, regularly activated calves dramatically improve leg circulation, reduce ankle swelling, and decrease the risk of deep vein thrombosis. Second, your ankle stabilizer muscles, the small muscles surrounding the ankle joint that are responsible for approximately 60% of your standing balance, are directly trained by the rotational demand of calf raises. These muscles are among the fastest to weaken after 65 and are a primary contributor to the ankle giving way that causes many senior falls. Third, the balance challenge of holding the raised position for 2 seconds, even with light fingertip support, trains your proprioceptive system, the neurological feedback network that tells your brain where your body is in space. Every second you hold that top position is neuromuscular training. Research from the University of Oregon found that a 12-week calf raise program in adults over 65 improved balance scores by 28% and reduced ankle-related fall incidence by 41%. Exercise 3, standing hip abduction, duration 1 minute. Target, hip abductors, gluteus medius, lateral stability, fall prevention. On camera, demonstrate standing at counter. Stand beside a chair or countertop with one hand lightly resting on it for balance. Stand tall, shoulders back, core gently engaged. Slowly lift your outside leg directly out to the side, keeping your toes pointing forward, not upward, and your body upright without leaning. Lift only as high as you can go while keeping your pelvis level, typically 30 to 45 degrees. Hold at the top for 2 seconds. Then slowly lower your leg back to the starting position. Perform 30 seconds on each side. Now, here is why this exercise is so critically important and so consistently overlooked in senior fitness programs. Your hip abductors, particularly the gluteus medius, are the muscles responsible for stabilizing your pelvis every time you take a step. When your right foot is on the ground and your left leg swings forward, your right gluteus medius is working to prevent your pelvis from dropping to the left side. When these muscles are weak, your pelvis tilts with every step, creating what physical therapists call a Trendelenburg gait and dramatically increasing your fall risk. A study published in Physical Therapy found that hip abductor weakness was present in 78% of older adults who had experienced a fall in the previous 12 months, compared to 31% of age matched non fallers. Hip abductor strength was a more powerful predictor of fall history than general leg strength, balance test performance, or walking speed. Yet this muscle group is almost never targeted by walking, stretching, or standard senior exercise programs. It is one of the most important muscles for your safety after 65 and one of the most neglected. Exercise 4, wall push ups. Duration 1 minute. Target chest, shoulders, triceps, core, upper body strength. Stand facing a wall approximately arm's length away. Place your palms flat on the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width apart. Step your feet back slightly so your body forms a gentle diagonal line. The further back your feet, the more challenging the exercise. Keeping your body in a straight line from head to heels, do not let your hips sag or rise. Slowly bend your elbows and lower your chest toward the wall. When your nose is approximately 2 to 3 inches from the wall, pause for 1 second. Then push slowly back to the starting position. The key is maintaining that straight body line throughout. Your core should be gently engaged, your neck should be neutral, not craning forward or dropping down, and the movement should be slow and controlled in both directions. 3 seconds down, 1 second pause, 2 seconds back. For 1 minute, perform as many controlled repetitions as you can while maintaining perfect form. Quality absolutely trumps quantity here. Why is upper body strength so important for adults over 65? Most senior exercise programs focus exclusively on the lower body, and lower body strength is certainly critical. But upper body strength is equally important for functional independence. Getting up from the floor after a fall, pushing yourself up from a chair when your legs are tired, carrying groceries, reaching overhead safely, managing doors and stairs with railings. All of these daily activities require meaningful upper body strength, particularly in the triceps, shoulders, and chest. A study from the University of New Mexico found that upper body pushing strength, measured by push up capacity, was significantly correlated with functional independence scores, fall recovery ability, and self reported quality of life in adults over 65, and that it declined 35% faster than lower body strength in sedentary older adults, making it a priority, not an afterthought. Wall push ups are the ideal entry point because the angle dramatically reduces the load compared to floor push ups, making them accessible regardless of starting strength level. As you get stronger over the weeks, you can progressively step your feet further from the wall to increase the challenge. Exercise 5, single leg stance. Duration 1 minute. Target balance, proprioception, ankle stability, neuromuscular coordination. This is the exercise I mentioned at the beginning, the one that clinical research suggests may be the single most valuable movement for adults over 65 for preserving long term independence. And it could not be simpler. Stand beside a chair with one hand available for safety but not gripping. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Slowly lift your left foot just slightly off the floor. 1 to 2 inches is enough. Hold this single leg stance for as long as you can while maintaining upright posture. When you need to, briefly touch down and immediately lift again. Alternate legs every 30 seconds. As this becomes easier over the weeks, progress by closing your eyes briefly during the hold, which removes visual input and dramatically increases the proprioceptive challenge, or by performing small movements with the raised foot, like gentle circles or forward back swings. Now, let me explain why this deceptively simple exercise is so extraordinarily powerful for older adults. Your balance system depends on three inputs working together: visual input, what your eyes see; vestibular input, signals from your inner ear about head position; and proprioceptive input, feedback from the muscles, tendons, and joints of your feet, ankles, and legs, telling your brain exactly where your body is in space. After 65, all three of these systems decline, but proprioceptive decline is the most directly addressable through exercise, and single leg stance is the most direct, efficient proprioceptive training exercise known to physical therapists and neurologists who work with older adults. Every second you spend balancing on one leg, your entire proprioceptive system is working at maximum capacity, sending continuous signals, making thousands of micro adjustments, strengthening the neural pathways between your feet and your brain. It is essentially a workout for your nervous system, not just your muscles. The clinical evidence for single leg stance in fall prevention is extraordinary. A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine followed 1,702 adults with an average age of 71 for 7 years. At the beginning of the study, participants were assessed on their ability to hold a 10-second single leg stance. Those who could not hold the single leg stance for 10 seconds had an 84% higher risk of dying from any cause within the 7 year follow up period compared to those who could. 84% higher mortality risk from a 10-second balance test. This is not because balance itself causes death. It is because single leg balance capacity is one of the most sensitive measures of the integrated neurological, muscular, and vascular health of the entire aging body. It is a window into your overall functional health status. A separate meta analysis published in Age and Aging reviewed 23 randomized controlled trials and found that single leg balance training was the most consistently effective single exercise intervention for reducing fall risk in community dwelling adults over 65, more effective than strengthening programs, more effective than flexibility programs, and more effective than combined cardiovascular exercise. One exercise, 30 seconds per side, 1 minute total, the highest evidence base of any single movement for fall prevention in older adults. Let me give you a direct comparison of what this 5 minute routine delivers versus what a 30-minute walk delivers for the specific health needs of adults over 65. Walking, cardiovascular benefit, significant. Muscle strength improvement, minimal. Bone density stimulus, modest. Balance improvement, minimal. Fall risk reduction, modest. Time required, 30 minutes. This 5 minute routine, cardiovascular benefit, moderate. Muscle strength improvement, significant. Bone density stimulus, significant; balance improvement, significant; fall risk reduction, substantial; time required, 5 minutes. This is not an argument against walking. Walk and do this routine. Both together is the ideal combination. But if you have limited time or limited energy, which is a reality for many adults over 65, 5 minutes of this targeted routine delivers more of what your aging body specifically needs than 30 minutes of walking alone. A study from the University of Sydney followed 120 adults over 65 for 6 months. One group walked for 30 minutes daily, another group performed a targeted resistance and balance exercise routine for 5 to 10 minutes daily. At the end of 6 months, the exercise group showed significantly greater improvements in functional strength, balance, and fall risk scores, despite spending dramatically less time exercising. The principle here is specificity. Exercise produces the adaptations it specifically trains for. Walking trains cardiovascular endurance. Resistance and balance exercises train muscle strength, bone density, neuromuscular coordination, and fall prevention. Your body needs both, and this 5 minute routine efficiently addresses the needs that walking cannot. Now, let me give you a progression plan because one of the most important principles of exercise for older adults is progressive overload. Your body adapts to a stimulus within 4 to 6 weeks. Without increasing the challenge over time, results plateau and eventually stop entirely. Weeks 1 and 2, Foundation Phase. Perform the 5 exercise routine once daily, 7 days per week. Focus entirely on form, slow, controlled movements, full range of motion, proper alignment. Do not worry about how many repetitions you complete. Getting the movement pattern correct is the only priority in this phase. Expected results: improved body awareness, reduced morning stiffness, better balance confidence. Weeks 3 and 4, building phase. Increase sit to stand repetitions by attempting one more per session than your previous best. For calf raises, extend the hold at the top from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. For hip abduction, increase the hold at the top from 2 seconds to 3 seconds. For wall push ups, take one small step back with both feet to increase the angle and load. For single leg stance, challenge yourself to hold 2 to 3 seconds longer than your previous best before touching down. Expected results: noticeable improvements in standing strength, measurable improvement in single leg balance time. Weeks 5 and 6, challenge phase. For sit to stand, if using hands for assistance, attempt your first repetitions without hand support. For calf raises, try performing a set with your eyes closed, significantly increasing the balance challenge. For hip abduction, add a gentle ankle weight of 1 pound if available. For wall push ups, step further from the wall. For single leg stance, briefly close your eyes for 2 to 3 seconds during each hold. Expected results: significant strength gains, meaningful fall risk reduction, improved confidence in daily movements. Beyond 6 weeks, continue progressive increases in any combination, longer holds, more repetitions, reduced support, added light resistance. The principle remains constant. Your body needs a slightly greater challenge than it is currently adapted to in order to continue improving. Here is your action plan, clear and simple. Action step 1: tomorrow morning, before anything else, perform this 5 minute routine: sit to stand, calf raises, hip abduction, wall push ups, single leg stance, 1 minute each. That is all. Action step 2: do not wait until you feel strong enough or ready enough. Begin at whatever level you are at today. Modified versions of every exercise are appropriate and effective. Perfect form at a lower intensity always beats poor form at a higher intensity. Action step 3: keep walking if you walk. Add this routine to your walking habit, not instead of it. On days when weather or energy prevent walking, this routine alone provides meaningful benefit in 5 minutes. Action step 4: track your progress simply. Each week, note how many sit to stand repetitions you complete in 1 minute and how long you can hold single leg stance on your weaker side. These two numbers will show you measurable improvement over the weeks, and that visible progress is what sustains long term consistency. Action step 5: share this video with every person over 65 in your life: walking friends, family members, anyone you know who is losing strength or balance and does not understand why their daily walks are not stopping the decline. This information could genuinely change their trajectory. 5 minutes, 5 exercises, no equipment, no gym membership, no special clothing, no barrier between you and doing this tomorrow morning. That is what I want you to take away from this video above everything else. Not the science, though the science is real and important. Not the statistics, though the statistics should motivate all of us. The simple, practical, undeniable fact that 5 minutes of the right movement every single morning is within reach for almost every adult over 65, regardless of current fitness level, regardless of how long it has been since you exercised, regardless of what your body feels like today. Strength does not have to decline the way most people accept it will. Balance does not have to become something you apologize for. Independence does not have to be something you gradually surrender. 5 minutes tomorrow morning is where it starts. If this video gave you something practical, something you will actually do, please subscribe to this channel. Every week, I bring you senior specific, clinically grounded, genuinely actionable health information, the kind designed not just to inform you, but to change what you do. Hit the like button if this changed how you think about exercise after 65. Drop a comment below. Which of these 5 exercises will you try first tomorrow morning? Tell me. I read every single comment, and your answer matters to me. Thank you for watching. Move more, move better, protect what matters most, your ability to live on your own terms.